Here's one of Bonnie Parker's poems written in 1932 while she was doing several months in jail. It was a little shithole jail in Kaufman, Texas. I believe she was the only person in there. Just a little outbuilding, honestly. It was a little outbuilding with bars on the window. And the jailer's wife felt sorry for her. And she wrote some poems, and she left this poem there for the jailer's wife. But here's the poem, Suicide Sal. We each of us have a good alibi for being down here in the joint, but few of them are really justified if you get right down to the point. You've heard of a woman's glory being spent on a downright cur. Still, you can't always judge the story as true being told by her. As long as I've stayed on this island and heard confidence tale from each gal, only one seemed interesting and truthful, the story of Suicide Sal. Now, Sal was a gal of rare beauty, though her features were coarse and tough. She never once faltered from duty to play on the up and up. Sal told me this tale on the evening before she was turned out free, and I'll do my best to relate it just as she told it to me. I was born on a ranch in Wyoming, not treated like Helen of Troy. I was taught that rods were rulers and ranked was a greasy cowboy. Then I left my home for the city to play in its mad dizzy whirl, not knowing how little of pity it holds for a country girl. There I fell for the line of a henchman, a professional killer from Chi. I couldn't help loving him madly. For him, even I would die. 1 year was desperately happy. Our ill-gotten gains we spent free. I was taught the ways of the underworld. Jack was like a god to me. I got on the FBA payroll to get the inside lay of the job. The bank was turning big money. It looked like a cinch for the mob. 80 grand without even a rumble. Jack was last with the loot in the door when the teller dead-aimed a revolver from where he was forced to lie on the floor. I knew I had only a moment. He would surely get Jack as he ran, so I staged a big fade out beside him and knocked the .45 out of his hand. They rapped me down big at the station and informed me that I'd get the blame for that dramatic stunt pulled on the teller. It looked to them too much like a game. The police called it a frame-up, said it was an inside job, but I steadily denied any knowledge or dealings with the underworld mob. The gang hired a couple of lawyers, the best fixers in any man's town, but it takes more than lawyers and money when Uncle Sam starts shaking you down. I was charged as a scion of gangland and tried for my wages of sin. The dirty dozen found me guilty, from 5 to 50 in the pen. I took the rap like good people, and never one squawk did I make. Jack dropped himself on the promise that we would make a sensational break. Well, to shorten the sad, lengthy story, 5 years have gone over my head without even as much as a letter. At first, I thought he was dead. But not long ago, I discovered from a gal in the joint named Lyle that Jack and his moll had got over and were living in true gangster style. If he had returned to me sometime, though he hadn't a cent to give, I'd forget all the hell he caused me and love him as long as I lived. But there's no chance of him ever coming, for he and his moll have no fear but that I will die in this prison or flatten this 50 years. Tomorrow I'll be on the outside, and I'll drop myself on it today. I'll bump them if they give me the hot squat on this island out here in the bay. The iron doors swung wide open next morning for a gruesome woman of waste, who at last had a chance to fix it, and murder showed all over her face. Not long ago I read in the paper that a gal on the east side got hot, and when the smoke finally retreated, 2 of gangdoms was found on the spot. It related the colorful story of a jilted gangster's gal. 2 days later, a subgun ended the story of Suicide Sal. Talks about this island out here in the bay. It was Alcatraz, the island out in the bay. You know, her story was a little different than that. This was before she was ever really involved in much, but very similar. Quite a prediction or a prophecy. I've been pretty impressed with her writing ability. The analysis here says this poem in the voice of an unnamed female prisoner tells the tragic tale of Suicide Sal, A woman betrayed by her lover and condemned to prison, Sal's story is one of heartbreak, betrayal, and desperation, and it reflects the harsh realities of life for women in the criminal underworld during the Great Depression. The poem's language is raw and unflinching, with Sal openly detailing her descent into crime and her subsequent abandonment by her lover. The poem's ending with the revelation of Sal's suicide is both shocking and inevitable, underscoring the desperation and hopelessness of Sal's situation. Compared to Bonnie Parker's other works, such as the story of Bonnie and Clyde, this poem is more introspective and personal. It delves into the psychology of a woman driven to the brink of despair, and it offers a glimpse into the hidden world of women in prison. The poem also reflects the social and economic conditions of the time, with Sal's story highlighting the challenges and dangers faced by women during the Great Depression. Thanks for listening. Peace out.